So we are fortunate this morning that we are given this opportunity to share a momentous event for the book launching of the pride of our university, no other than Dr. Rommel P. Sergio. He is the author of Unbroken, Trials to Triumph, The Making of a Community Leader. So to formally start our today's undertaking, may we request everyone to please rise for our doxology and national anthem to be led by our representative from URS Chorale. And this will be followed by the singing of our university hymn and recitation of our VMGO and quality policy. Please remain standing for our university hymn and recitation of VMGO in quality policy. URS Vision. The leading university in human resource development, knowledge and technology generation, and environmental stewardship. URS Mission. The University of Rizal system is committed to nurture and produce upright and competent graduates and empowered community through relevant and sustainable higher professional and technical instruction, research, extension, and production services. Core values: RISES. R. Responsiveness. I. Integrity. S. Service. E. Excellence. S. Social responsibility. Quality policy. The University of Rizal system commits to deliver excellent products and services to ensure total stakeholder satisfaction in instruction, research, extension, production, and dynamic administrative support, and to continuously improve its quality management system processes to satisfy all applicable requirements.
Let's all together sing the URS hymn. Ang mga labi ay
Please be seated. To give her opening remarks, let us call on the Director of the Office of Public Affairs, Dr. Jocelyn L. Gagalang.
Thank you so much, Dr. Batch. To our beloved university officials, headed by our gorgeous University President, Dr. Nancy T. Pascual, the Vice Presidents, Dr. Marites M. Rio, and of course, we also have Dr. Alan E. Conde and Dr. Renato F. De Lemon, our alumni author, multi-awarded one, Dr. Rommel P. Sergio, fellow directors of units, Dr. Fe Esperanza F. Mateo, Dr. Nikli L. Tiratira, Dr. Leo Rio, campus directors, deans, faculty, extensionists, and staff, guests, students, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. What a unique morning we have today as we welcome and host the book launching in the Philippines of one of our best and brightest alumni, Dr. Rommel P. Sergio. Hosting a book launching event for a university's alumnus is an uncommon occurrence. not all educational institutions have this opportunity, as it depends on the quality of the graduates it produces. Thus, having a multi-awarded alumnus who is internationally famous, being an educator, book author, mental health advocate, and humanitarian is indeed the university's pride. Salute to you, Dr. Rommel, and to the educators. We have Ma'am Aina and the rest of those mentors that you have had and who had molded, guided, and inspired you. Ladies and gentlemen, this event is truly instrumental in providing an avenue for meet and greet with the author and a rare chance of getting to know him personally and discern his advocacies, inspiration, and perspectives. So to one and all, welcome aboard to this book launching event. Magandang umaga po, mabuhay.
Thank you very much on your wonderful message, Ma'am Joyce. And now let us proceed to learn more about the man of the hour. To give us the background of the author of the book that will be launched this morning, let us have here in front the Vice President for Research and Development Extension and Production, Dr. Martes M. Rio.
Thank you, Dr. Batch. Blessing is simply the way we may define the day today. With the book launching of the Unbroken, Trials to Triumph, which coins the house of the making of a community leader. The book's author, Dr. Rommel Pilapil Sergio, is the living idiom of what it means to say, every cloud has a silver lining. He is the loving son of Mr. Romeo T. Sergio and Mrs. Florentina P. Sergio, and the ever-supportive brother to siblings Tina, Jonas, and Raymond. A vivid recall of who our book author was on his early 15 will paint you a picture of a young boy who works double time for his responsibilities as president of a youth singing ministry called the Young Mission Apostles, and as a very helpful son, assisting his mom and siblings with their uling and sa malamigan. Sa kabila ng kahirapan at hamon ng buhay, pinatunayan niya na ang kanyang kabataan ay hindi hadlang upang maging matatag, masigasig, at matagumpay sa kanyang buhay paglalakbay bilang isang anak, mag-aaral at manggagawa sa simbahan at pamayanan. Dr. Rommel is the pride of the Barasenian community and the Filipino nation in general, being the presidential awardee by the then Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte as Distinguished Filipino Overseas Educator, Researcher, and Community Extension Service Provider, especially among the distressed OFWs in the United Arab Emirates. He is the benefactor of a scholarship foundation that provides financial assistance to select deserving college students who are enrolled in the University of Rizal system. Through his foundation, thankful souls are now licensed teachers, while some others earned their degree in BS Psychology, BS Guidance and Counseling, Bachelor of Technology, BS Administration and Financial Management. Presently, he also has scholars with us today, this morning, who are enrolled in Bachelor in Medical Technology and BS Fine Arts. Even during the early years of his formation as a young leader, he has already proven his love for writing. He is a prolific writer whose thoughts are soulfully expressed and well-written from the heart. He advanced his writing skills and became an internationally recognized researcher who has publications in several Scopus Index journal. The magnification of his lens extends to a good number of co-authorship for various research papers and books. His numerous awards in a number of international academic conferences, including the distinct recognition from Harvard University, is one thing that makes him truly exceptional. His love for knowledge translation and acquisition also directed him opportunities in publishing several case studies at the UK Case Center. Dr. Rommel is the lead author of the Amazon's best-selling book, Management Cases, Thriving Organizations in the New Normal. It is a book that featured 22 organizations from around the globe. He is currently the Associate Dean and Professor at the Canadian University of Dubai. In the early 20 years of teaching in the undergraduate and graduate programs, our book author served various organizations as an HR director and as organizational development consultant in the United Arab Emirates and in the Philippines. Our book author is given recognition by local and foreign award-giving bodies for his contribution to academe, research, and community, to wit, Outstanding Professor by the Global Education Summit and Awards, the Kilang Bayani Award, and the Outstanding International Community Leader by the United Federation of Filipino-American Educators, or UNIFIED, and the Philippine Consulate in Dubai and Northern Emirates, respectively. Global Filipino Idol for Heroism by the ABS-CBN, TFC, DZMM. Outstanding International Educator by the International Journal of Business and Economics, Cambridge University, UK, among others. He was featured in CNN, Gulf News, and Gulf Today. I save it as a note, as an important note, that by tomorrow, he has again an interview by the CNN in view of his continuing milestone as a person inspired by blessings from above and a person who inspired blessings in many ways. More than being a global researcher, scientist, and an outstanding global research leader, as commended and recognized by the International Association of Scholarly Publishers, Editors, and Reviewers, I personally view Dr. Sergio as Mother Teresa's male modern version, for he also walks his life by the teaching of Mother Teresa that says, "We cannot all do great things, but we can do small things with great love." Our book author is a dreamer whose dreams and perspective of life are guided by his faith that it is God who fills our cups with delight. It is the perspective by which Dr. Rommel Pilapil Sergio has written and launched with his URS family the Unbroken, Trials to Triumph, The Making of a Community Leader, a book that will certainly make us all love to be of service with a thankful heart. Ladies and gentlemen, our special blessing not just today. I am humbled to present to you all our book author, the pride of the University of Rizal System, Dr. Rommel Pilapil Sergio. Let's give him a round of applause.
You may be seated. Thank you so much. I very well know that I am in the Philippines when you're given that long introduction. Whenever I would go outside the country, it's always just the name and the title that matters, and that's it. I'm so blessed. I don't know how to capture in words the emotions that I feel right now, knowing that I have high school classmates in here. I will not name names. They will definitely have their turn later on. College friends, those who had been part of my journey in Legacy way back. I have loving friends, classmates, even my thesis members, co-members. They happen to be here. Best of friends back in college, high school, probably elementary days. I have a very loving guidance counselor who emerged to be the leader of URS, Dr. Nancy, our president. Let's give her a big round of applause. And the rest of you. And of course, I don't owe it to myself. I normally say that there's always a foundation to where we had been. And back on those days wherein I happened to be a student in the high school division or department, you may call it like that, RTPI as it has been, I always look forward to the educators, of course, other than them. It's a long preparation of where it took me to this day, to this very day, knowing that my immersion in a typical church-based organization, that in my book I describe also as portraying an image of a civic organization, because we have those activities back on the days wherein whatever we have earned through our caroling activities or any activities of some sort, we make sure that we give a huge portion of that to the community. So bago pa magkaroon ng chinela si Corina Sanchez, meron na yung Young Mission Apostles na version yan. We go to different mountainous places, not just in Rizal, and it really had planted that seed of kindness in me, I would say. And we owe it to the coordinators, Dr. Leo and Dr. Tet Rio. Again, let's give them a big round of applause. Because myself, being a very timid, back on the days, you will find this in one of the chapters of the book. I'm already giving the synthesis, wherein I can't really describe wherein that vision wherein I will be able to talk even in public, because I had that opportunity wherein even my elementary teacher gave up on me. There was a time, there was even this flying eraser coming to my face, and I just ended up having a lot of dust in my face because the teacher just solely gave up. Kulang na lang tumambling siya para mapagsalita niya ako, and I didn't. So most of my elementary classmates, and we are live right now, they can really see this. Many of them would sometimes even prompt and ask, "Is that really you?" Because we remember you as a very timid, very shy. Many of them bullied me at some extent, and that's also part of the book. I'm thankful with these people. It's ironic. The more painful it gets, the more successful it becomes. And it becomes an irony because for some people who may not be grateful about those experiences, no matter how painful, it would definitely be more of a negative impact that they would look into rather than the positive part of learning from those experiences. My research days in the university opened up a lot of good things for me. I even had up to wee hour. You will not believe that. But of course, my thesis advisor, Dr. Aina, would have that tenacity to even attend to our groups. Motmot happened to be my Elecito, happened to be my group mate as well. And we had that opportunity to up to that time. Ngayon, the students consult with me informally via WhatsApp, leave voice messages, and that's it, But those were the days wherein the tenacious way of dealing with things happen not just overnight. That plant of seed that you tend to harness over time is something that you harvest throughout time too. But it takes diligence. It takes your serious effort to really provide a punch, sometimes to yourself, to be able to see how it takes to become good in what you do, to the extent of being excellent. And you always have to look back. So last year, when I was doing a book launch in Oculus, particularly in New York, when the award was given for that conference mentioned by Dr. Tet, allow me to become more informal because it's a way of me recalling how personal it is that the touch of an educator or a set of educators from URS had been. And that's how it has been ingrained in my system. Part of what I said also in the book, it's like I have a gift and I need to share it to the world. You need to do the same thing. You may not have found that passion yet and that strength within you, but you may not know you're definitely capable of doing extraordinary things, much more than your cognition would give you. And in that travel of mine, recalling how that shy boy back on the elementary days, I was telling to myself that there must be other way for me to be out of that box. So it was very, very difficult for me. Imagine how it is now. I have to conduct probably 6 hours of lecture in straight English. When, well, in fact, before, I can't even utter a single word in the class. Transcending that thought would go back to that core of scene wherein when I was in URS or back then in RTPI, a lot of high school teachers of mine who happened to be really expert in language, most of them obviously have retired. And I'm so blessed to even have a dean who's really tough and tenacious because that fierce in her, Dr. Ched, happened to have that reinforcement of discipline, and she's here, yes. Hello, let's give her a big round of applause. You may call it masochism, as you may say so, but I love having instructors, teachers, or even administrators in a way that I feel challenged whenever I would see more disciplinarians come in the way, or you may say strict as they are, because I don't know, I come to develop that confidence after taking that chance to face them or to face the reality that I have a very strict, or you may say so, terror instructor in the class. I'm not referring to Dr. Ched alone, right? But that made me a better person. I remember even how tenacious, how dedicated these educators are. And setting aside what I've mentioned earlier, that up to wee hour, 12 midnight, where in the world you can find an educator, a research advisor like that, you know, who would give you so much time. And me being the editor-in-chief, two-time editor-in-chief of Legacy, seeing my output with so much red corrections on each of the lines that I have, that takes humility, you know, for me to say, oh, I really need to acknowledge this openness, because from there I can see how rewarding it gets that I benefit from those experiences. You need to look at that angle rather than see and you know, be more remorseful and would say, oh, this is not me. Why do I have all of these corrections together, you know? I even remember, and Dr. Ched is always laughing whenever I get the opportunity to have lunch or some sort of special time with her and Dr. Aina. Yung sparing ng pollution, no? Pollution yata ang nailagay ko dun sa essay ko. And I can still remember those moments wherein I really had to internalize those values and see how well I can gain from those experiences. These all started with a twist. What I'm saying is you're being receptive to changes. These are all reflected in the book as well. You know, how the transcendence of being a quite, I would say, timid boy, very timid boy, shy boy in reality, who turns out to be more given the opportunity to lead. And it's so difficult at first because a lot of pressures come in the way. You have a very, you have quite high set standards by your educators in the here in the URS. And again, gratitude is one of those that emerge out of one of the chapters. So the book itself is not intending to support the toxic positivity that we have today. It doesn't stop recognizing that you can do it, but it basically puts a glance into what perspectives can be drawn out of those trials. The toils, we all have toils. These happen to be a process of growth. These series of trials serve as your safety net in the near future, in reality. And yeah, capturing those moments of toils and trials before you can say that, oh, I need to celebrate my small wins or even your big wins. You know, that's part of what the book offers. The book also offers reflection section wherein you'll have the opportunity to recollect. I think it's something that we lack today, the power to recollect and the power to reflect. Because in each day, sometimes when you don't exercise reflection, you don't exercise gratitude. And the extension of those sets of gratitude would redound to something better. One thing that you can probably notice, those who already have the book, the first part of the section of the book, before you can even explore the table of contents, is a section which is a seed planted to me by the Young Mission Apostles Choir when I was still having that sense of commitment. You know, ang hirap din sa akin umuo nung panahon na yun. So I have one chapter that says the start of it all and another chapter that says, what do you call this? Invited but not so invited. You know, because you have that idea that you're being invited but you're not solely committed yet. So by the time I was being pushed by Dr. Leo and Dr. Tet, mag-choir ka kaya? No, I was a drafting student in one of the electives ng high school. And at that time, I was saying, as always, no. So, palaging ganun. Pero palagi palang may opportunity na pwedeng dumating. And when you don't say yes to those opportunities, and you neglect that opportunity to say yes and to give your commitment, you will lose that chance for growth and development. So, I started at that very least. So that giving, the first part of my book, let me continue that part, before you create a difference in the world, that the exact text you will find in the book, you must first learn how to be compassionate. The power to give is the ability to be kind. That's the first section of the book. At this point, of course, I cannot really express in words how indebted I am. This is probably the most emotional of all the book launches I have done. Because seeing previous high school friends whom I have not seen probably for 20 years, one of my legacy, I would say, supporters, back on the days I was training her, Jovette, who's also part of the program, who emerged to be the managing editor of Legacy back on those days. She was also quite timid, just like me. I can see myself in her. But the staunch side of her came out, and the fierce side of her came out in the process. This is part of our intention to also use our influence, so that people can also emulate from our experiences. I would say, in the course of this event, let me quote a part of my book that I have intended for your reading. Triumphs do not happen at the touch of a button. They are brought about by possessing salient values of self-compassion, mindfulness, dependability. Salient values of mindfulness, optimism, ethical leadership, and the power to appreciate small and extraordinary wins that can spindle happiness even to greater heights. These are the values that emerge from each of the chapter that I have written. So I beseech you, my dear audience, who happen to be my readers too, that this book, for you to learn and apply the lessons found herein, only into selfless giving and engagement with humanity can we find our true purpose. We're all deemed to do extraordinary things, as I've mentioned earlier. Each of you, each of us, must start from our personal voyage of discovery as an individual. The reader, let your community leadership journey begin and your own unbroken stories be told. You're not unbroken. You may be bruised, you may be hurt, you may feel dissatisfied, but you're not an ordinary plate or glass of water that cannot be repaired. So I would say, in this light, let this day shine on you and let you be a beacon of hope for others. Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat po, Dr. Sergio. So once again, let's give Dr. Sergio a round of applause, another round of applause. Listening to Dr. Sergio's words and his milestone achievement indeed show us that there's so much things about him that to be applauded of. So he's our manifestation of hard work, perseverance, and dedication to reach his dreams in life. Truly, if there's such words like this, cream of the creams of the creams of the crop, it is truly Dr. Sergio. Okay, so may his humble beginning to reach his greater heights be our inspiration. So once again po, maraming salamat po, Dr. Sergio. So let us all be entertained. Let's skip this part later. Mamaya po muna tayo in ang ating intermission number. But to let us know more about Dr. Sergio from different individuals who know him personally. So let us hear some words of commendation. To begin with, may we have Honorable Catherine B. Robles, the Vice Mayor of the Municipality of Baras, and let us watch her video greetings.
Isang magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Ang aking pagbati sa mahusay na Barasenyo na si Dr. Rommel P. Sergio para sa matagumpay na launching ng kanyang best-selling book sa Dubai na Management Cases. At ngayon ay sasagawa naman ang book launching sa University of Rizal System. Ang pamahalang bayan ng Baras sa pamumuno ni Mayor Willie Robles, kasama ang inyong lingkod at sangguniang bayan members at mamamayang Barasenyo ay taus-pusong nagpapaabot ng pagbati ng kalakasan sa mga pagkilala, parangal at tagumpay na inyong natatanggap mula sa mga prestiyosong ahensya at organisasyon sa ibang bansa. Ang ilan sa mga ito ay nang makabilang po kayo sa top 50 sa Global Educators ng Oxford Journal, Bagong Bayani Award at Presidential Award ng taong 2016 at marami pang pagkilala at parangal. Bilang isang Barasenyo na may natural na dedikasyon, maglingkod sa komunidad at tapang na humarap sa hamon ng nagbabagong lipunan, ay lakas loob ka na nakipagsapalaran at nagbigay ng dekalidad na serbisyo sa libo-libong tao sa mundo bilang isang profesor, dean at psychologist. Ang inyong paglalahad ng mga natatanging karanasan, hamon at tagumpay sa buhay na nakapaloob sa isang akdang-aklat ay nagsilbing inspirasyon sa maraming tao. Sa panahon kung saan ang buong mundo ay napaloob sa pandemya, ay itinuring mo ito na isang magandang pagkakataon upang magpatuloy sa pananaliksik at pagsusulat hanggang sa ikaw ay makabuo ng isang obra na siyang yumayakap sa puso at tumatatak sa isipan ng mga tao sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo. Ang bayan ng Baras ay proud na proud po sa iyo, Dr. Rommel, sa iyong matagumpay sa larangan ng edukasyon, malikhaing pagsusulat at serbisyong publiko. Hangad namin sa mas marami pang Dr. Rommel ang sumibol sa bayan ng Baras at nawa ang mga ginintuang aral, sa buhay na nakapaloob sa inyong akdang-aklat ay maging inspirasyon ng lahat ng tao at bawat mamamayan upang patuloy na magsumikap hanggang sa maabot nila ang kanilang mga pangarap. Muli, magandang araw po at mabuhay ka po, Dr. Rommel P. Sergio. Saludo po kami, Barasenyo. God bless po.
Vice Mayor Robles, and also to give her words of commendation is the former chair of the Psychology Department of the Rizal University, Dasmariñas. Let us all welcome Professor Silva Napicol for a video message.
To the man of the hour, Dr. Rommel Pilapil Sergio, a dear friend and colleague, I'm sending you a big hug and a big and exuberant high five on the occasion of the book launching activity of your second publication entitled Unbroken, Trials to Triumph, The Making of a Community Leader. You know, Mel, I believe that this book is a testament of your journey of becoming. I will never forget the years beginning 2020, or is it 2021, when you became an esteemed faculty member of the Behavioral Sciences Department of De La Salle University, Dasmariñas. You were really a gift to us. You offered yourself unselfishly by contributing your time, knowledge, and skills in mentoring our students in the area of research, teaching your co-faculty the art of making, still remember animated presentations, PowerPoint presentations, guiding our student leaders to reach their full potentials, yung mga magdamaga nating psych enhancement seminars, na you're really very active then, and many more. You never stop giving, which of course until now you are still doing that. How I wish I'm there to celebrate this joyous moment with you, Mel. Continue to inspire us with your life of service to every community you come in contact with. You have in your spirit the fire, to make significant changes in the life of people you meet, intentionally for a purpose. I know that your quest continues and the journey of becoming doesn't end here. Not yet. And, I'd like to end this short greeting with a quote from the former First Lady of America, Michelle Obama. Quote, "Becoming isn't about arriving somewhere or achieving a certain aim. I see it as a forward motion, a means of evolving, a way to reach continuously toward a better self." I'm truly proud of what you have become, Mel. See you soon.
Thank you very much, Professor Napicol. And another words of commendation is to be delivered by Miss Janet Alfonso Terado, class president and a high school classmate of Dr. Sergio at RTPI. Palakpakan po natin si ma'am.
Thank you. Hi to all, to our key personnels, faculty, staff, students of this University of Rizal system. A great morning to all. And of course, to our good friend, our classmate, Dr. Rommel P. Sergio, a great morning. Hi. Dr. Rommel Sergio, or Rommel P. Sergio, as our classmate. We were classmate year 1991 when we graduated in Rizal Technological Polytechnic Institute, RTPI then. We were in Formo Lave. In Formula B, we were the stars then in our batch. Yes, we were the stars. Our section was the stars then in our batch again. Dr. P, Dr. Rommel P. Sergio was, like what he said, very timid, a shy person to all of our classmates. We have a common denomination knowing him. He was really so quiet. But he was a man of few words, of course, but he conversed and communicated to all of us with high sensitivity and sensibility. He is very mindful. He was quiet, of course, but very friendly, helpful, considerate, and dedicated. A classmate of ours who we remembered, he lent his notebooks to her because he was absent for a little while to catch up from the notes, from the lessons, and she was so mesmerized on the penmanship of Dr. Rommel. It was really a beautiful penmanship, and our BP, Vice President in our class, considered that penmanship was a rival of Times New Roman style. So you can imagine that. He manifested his diligence and passion in his studies, particularly in our English subject and elective. He was articulate in English language, an excellent ability in public speaking and essay writing. Today is not a surprise at all because we knew him before with those traits, with those skills already. He always gave a highest grade during oral recitations because he was so articulate. He had a gift from above for his English language and a deep understanding of the powers of words. For us, Rommel P. Sergio was a good person then and the best person now and moving forward. Thank you for giving us pride, our classmate, batchmate. Thank you to all and God bless po.
Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Janet Alfonso Terado. Lastly, let us call on Miss Juvette Morales, former The Legacy Managing Editor, to also give her words of commendation to Dr. Sergio. Palakpakan po natin si Ma'am.
Thank you. A pleasant morning to everyone, and of course, Ma'am Nancy, Ma'am Mercedes Timtiman, Ma'am Valentina R. Katmunan, and of course, my editor-in-chief, Dr. Rommel P. Sergio. But I don't want to address him as Dr. Rommel P. Sergio. I just want to simply call him Kuya Mel, because that's how I called him way back 1994 when I became a student writer in the Legacy until I graduated when I became the editor-in-chief following his footsteps. I'd rather not give a video. He asked me for a video, but I said no. I will come personally because I wanted to see you after 26 years. That was editorial board examination. He was one of the panelists, and I also wanted to see some of people I knew. I want to feel the ambience. I wanted to be here because I want to feel, and it's just the same. This is AVIC, correct? AVIC, where we used to have seminars, and most of the editorial board examinations were held here way back then. Okay, without further ado, may I know if we have someone from the Legacy, a student journalist who is covering the event? Do we have someone from the Legacy? Wala bang nagko-cover ng event na ito para mailagay na balita or gawa ng feature itong event na ito? Wala po. Pero meron pa pong Legacy. Oh, that's good. That's good to hear. Baka kako po nag-iba na ng pangalan. Okay po. I've heard a lot of good things. I heard so many commendations, so many good words for Kuya Mel. But let me take it to another. Okay lang ba, Kuya Romel? But I will be sharing you the truth about Kuya Romel. In that, I would like you to know that Kuya Mel, he's terrible. He was a terrible editor-in-chief when it comes to editing articles. Okay? I remember when we submitted articles, it should be on the dot. It should be on time. And whenever the articles came back to us, oh my God, there are a lot of reds on it. And sometimes, other staff cried because the articles were killed. The articles were totally killed and given back, and it should be revised. So most of us are very afraid, are crying, and then there was once this article, a feature article, and he told me to interview Dr. Araceli Bobadilla. Why me, Kuya Mel? I'm just new. You just hired me, and then you are telling me to make features for Dr. Araceli Bobadilla. I don't have any choice. That's very challenging. So I interviewed Dr. Bobadilla, and I remember the title of my feature article was Erasing All Stigma. I will not go any deeper on that because it will take a long time. I know I'm only given like 3 minutes. Hopefully, I can squeeze in everything, much of the words that I would like to say about Kuya Rommel. So, Kuya Mel was a terrible editor-in-chief. And another thing that I would like to share is that this is like a story. One day, morning, when I went to the office, I saw him very haggard. Seems like you didn't slept. You haven't eaten yet. And it seems like you're wet. Where did you came from? And I have learned that Kuya Rommel with other staff participated in a mobilization. Sa rally. Nagrally si Kuya Rommel. That was the time when former President Joseph Estrada is trying to have this chacha or the charter change, I remember. Why did you join that? So I'm thinking, why did he join? And he sparred me with his answer, and he said, to become a student journalist, you should not only learn what's happening inside the school. Learnings, knowledge doesn't only come in the four corners of classroom. You should go out. You should seek what's happening in the community and in the country as a whole. And as a student journalist, you should write something. What's really happening in the school? You report. You make news. What's really happening, and you include what's happening in the community and the country as a whole. So, Kuya Mel inspired me and showed me how to become a true student journalist. And shall I say, he gave me an inspiration of becoming a student activist. We've joined a lot of mobilizations when it comes to rationalization of education, tuition fee increase, charter change, and so many issues concerning the country, the community, that affects the student and the school as well. Minsan maaalala ko pa na napapagalitan yung mga taga-legacy. Kasi kung saan-saan kami nagpupunta. And you know, well, that is just part of being a student journalist. Mahirap maging part ng legacy. Much as I wanted to become a simple and a typical student, kasi nagugulat din yung mga teachers ko before. tahimik, hindi makabasag ng plato. Ngayon, nagbabasag na ng plato. And that is because of Kuya Rommel. And you know what? I'm proud that I became a part of the legacy and he became my editor-in-chief. So, Kuya Rommel is very, very active. And I've seen his being active happens in his career when I've learned that he became an HR practitioner. I'm not surprised that he became an HR practitioner. Of course, he was a graduate of psychology. What must he do? What must he take with his career? And then, few years, I've heard Kuya Mel was in Cavite, DLSU, De La Salle University, as an educator, as a professor. And still, I'm not surprised because I know he has a passion for teaching. I know that he would become a good professor, so I'm really not surprised. And then I've heard Kuya Rommel went out of the country. I'm still not surprised because in his heart, I know it's an opportunity for him to better himself. And of course, he has a lot of hopes and dreams to support his beloved family. Marami kaming pinagdaanan ni Kuya Rommel. Minsan wala kaming, pambili ng, gamit sa school or projects. Minsan, nagsishare-share lang kami ng pagkain, ulam namin sa legacy para lamang, alam niyo yun, makaraos kasi estudyante walang pera. Minsan, pamasahe lang yung pag nawala pa yung piso o 2 piso, maglalakad ka na pauwi. So, ganon kahirap. That's why I know, going abroad, alam ko kung ano yung hopes and vision ni Kuya Rommel, and that is for his family. And now I've heard, during the pandemic, he wrote a book, Case Management. And I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. I am amazed. Wow, ang galing ni Kuya Rommel. Saludo talaga ako kay Kuya Rommel. And now, sabi niya, uuwi siya, ini-invite niya ako na mag-share ng experiences ko with him as an editor-in-chief. I'm not surprised. I am amazed. That's great. That's brilliant. That's wonderful. Wala akong masabi. Saludo ako kay Kuya Rommel. Napakahusay na estudyante, napakahusay na editor-in-chief, napakabuting kaibigan. So, masaya ako after 26 years na nagkita tayong muli. After 26 years, you're still my editor-in-chief, my friend, and he proved himself to be a servant leader. So, I just wanted to tell everyone, let's give a warm applause to our beloved, my beloved, Kuya Mel. I love you, Kuya Mel.
Thank you very much po to all those who give their words of commendation to Dr. Mel. So marami na po tayong natutunan about him. And this time, let us all be entertained by the performance of Mr. John Brian Nera of URS Chorale. Palakpakan po natin si John. Nandyan siya. Palakpak naman.
Baby, lock the doors and turn the lights on low. Put some music on that's soft and slow. Baby, we ain't got no place to go. I hope you understand. I've been thinking about this all day long. Never feeling quite strong. I can't believe how much it turns me on just to be your man. There's no hurry, don't you worry. We can take our time. Come a little closer, let's go over what I had in mind. Baby, lock the doors and turn the lights on low. Put some music on that soft and slow. Baby, we ain't got no place to go. I hope you understand. I've been thinking about this all day long. Never felt a feeling quite so strong. I can't believe how much it turns me on just to be your man. Ain't nobody ever loved nobody the way that I love you. We're alone now, you don't know how long I wanted to. Baby, lock the doors and turn the lights down low. Put some music on the soft and slow. Baby, we ain't got no place to go. I hope you understand. I've been thinking about this all day long. Never felt a feeling that was quite strong. I can't believe how much it turns me on just to be your man. I can't believe how much it turns me on just to be your man.
Thank you po. Maganda po sana kung merong kasamang sumasayawan, no? Nagchat-chat si Doc Rommel tsaka yung mga dati niyang si Ma'am Katmunan habang kumakan. Tsaka si Ma'am Sed, tsaka si Ma'am Nancy, ayan. Chumachat siya habang kumakanta. Anyway, so thank you very much, Jan. Jan ka lang muna. Okay, so this time let us hear short messages from other individuals who also witnessed the greatest achievements of Dr. Sergio. So to give her a message, let us call on Dr. Mercedes F. Timtiman, a former dean and professor of Dr. Sergio. Ma'am, may we have you here?
Good morning to each and every one of you. This is for so many years I haven't been in front of this. No, I retired in 2012. Although before that I had already my I already took all my leaves. I went to States, and then after coming back from the United States, then I had my retirement. Okay. Kaya medyo hindi na yata ako marunong mag-usap sa harap nito. Actually, at first when Dr. Tet messaged me, I told her I may not be able to come. And even Dr. Sergio, and even Dr. Katmunan, because I had a previous appointment. It's not because the Cebu Bohol tour, where we met at Bohol, no? Of all the places, kaya hindi ako pwedeng gumawa ng palso. Marami kang makikitang estudyante. Okay. Akala ko nga estudyante, hindi ko pa nakilala si Dr. Tet because of the mask. Ang sabi ko pa nga kay Dr. Tet, estudyante ba ko ba kayo sa San Juan? Napahiya ako. Si Dr. Nickly naman, dahil noon sexy pa si Dr. Nickly nang umalis ako eh. Very slim, pang model ang katawan. Ngayon, pwede pa rin. Yung bang large sizes. Hindi. Ako yun. I'm just kidding. And even Jenny. Si Jenny nang makilala ko, hindi pa yata hubot-hubad pa. It's because, pero ang aking inaanak sa binyag ay si Jaja. Okay. Si Tachi naman, nandun dyan. Ewan ko nga kung paano nagligawan yan si Sinan at saka si Tachi. Anyway, marami yata akong ibibistok pa sa harapan na ito, no? Medyo, what I would say about Dr. Rommel, I have already mentioned doon sa isa kong tula. Alam ninyo, ako teacher sa science, teacher sa education, teacher sa humanities, everything but not in Filipino. But when I was 70 years old, somebody invited me to be a part of a poetry group. And I accepted it. Noong ko lang na-discover na marunong din pala akong tumula. And I had a book on that. Sabi sa akin, hindi daw nung ako nung nagtuturo pa ako para malagay sa NBC. Sabi ko, hindi yun pwede kasi hindi naman ako Filipino teacher eh. Diba? Kung ano yung linya mo, doon ka gumawa ng aklat, yun ang maka-count. Okay. So medyo maikli na. Ang aking ginawa ay tula, anak. Nailagay ba? Naiyan ba yung aking tula? Wala ba? Yun na lang ang aking sinabi kasi masyadong hahaba tsaka masyado ko nang binobola si Dr. Rommel. Pero I will be telling you, Rommel, aking sasabihin, estudyante ko yan sa humanities. And there was a test in I think it's, I don't know, a periodical test ba tawag doon. And there was an essay portion. Maganda yung thoughts. The thoughts that he had given were very good. But there was a slight mistake in the grammar. And I checked it. Tapos sinabi sa akin ni Dr. Hernandez, huy, magiging editor yan ng Legacy. Napahiya ako. But I had already checked. I cannot anymore retrieve it back. Kaya siguro yun ang dahilan kaya hindi ako malimutan ni Dr. Rommel kahit ako ay terror. And I will not deny that. Okay. May nagsabing estudyante sa akin na, Ma'am, pag pumasok ka sa classroom, tahimik na kami. Ang sabi ng isang taga-URS, Tanay, pag daw ako yung teacher, maririnig mo daw yung bagsak ng aspili. And they were all boys. Hindi raw ako leon, hindi raw ako tigre, ako daw ay dragon. Anyway, kaya pala ang aking kasama sa Bohol, mga dati kong estudyante. Hindi ako malimutan, lagi akong naisasama sa kanilang lakad. Anyway, let's hear. Okay. Ito yung aking kay Rommel. Reared in gentle discipline, grew up with fine manners. Affectionate to siblings. Sana kasi stanza, hindi, okay lang. Affectionate to siblings where goodness has been hammered. Courteous to all people, even if they don't matter. How delightful the bearing, truly pride of all mothers. Okay. Obstacles are no hindrance if someone aspires success. Despite all humps, trials causing stress, blocking progress, insurmountable hardships can be conquered and addressed. This has been truly proven with hard work in the process. Meaningful activities always dot your horizon. In assistance to everyone, their concerns, their aspirations. Since it is psychology, the loved specialization, mali spelling ko, always kind-hearted, caring in focus, education. Magnanimous, that's what you are in all your undertakings. You cater to all people, never discriminating. Whenever someone needs help, you're there, guiding, assisting. That is your person, being generous, so endearing. Enthusiastic you are in works that need to be done. Industry so palpable, incomparable to none. The energy can be felt even in 100 miles run, contagiously imbibed, just like water in a sponge. Loyalty is so innate as you traverse earthly life. You never fail to look back, no matter how high you climb. Aside from intelligence, the main reason of your flight, and the one thing we can do is pray that God will always be your guide. Okay. Good morning to each and every one of you. I know most of you will be very, very successful no matter what.
Wow, ganda po ng tula. Okay, congratulations po, ma'am, and then Sir Rommel. Finally, they are reunited. Another one na magre-reunite kay Dr. Rommel and also to give her message is Dr. Valentina Arcatmunan, another former dean and professor.
Isang mapagpala at magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Good morning, everyone. Hindi ko na po iisa-isang batiin ang mga narito sa ating hall, sa ating AVEC. Gusto ko lang din ipaalam na ako po ay naging excited sa pagpunta rito kasi matagal din pong panahon na wala na ako dito sa URS Morong dahil nag-retire ako ng 2017. I'm not revealing my age. Anyway, kita naman. Okay, so the success of a former student brings joy to the heart of his or her former teachers. Cheering for our man of the hour is his former professor and program coordinator. I was the program coordinator then, kasi hindi ako nabot ni Dr. Rommel as dean. And with great pride, I am happy to give a glimpse of how he was as a student way back in college in the then Rizal Polytechnic College, now the University of Rizal System, Morong. He honed his writing skills as a student scribe at the school paper, The Legacy, as a staff writer and news editor. A leader in his own right, he became the editor-in-chief, which during his term, The Legacy highly sustained its vibrancy, keeping students well informed of the various programs and projects of the college, while serving as the bridge between the administration and the students. He too became the president of the English Club, the student organization which he dearly loved, greatly helping students improve their written and oral communication skills. He actively supported the Samahan na Mag-aaral sa Psikolohiya, the accredited student organization of the program he belonged. He also involved himself in various activities and projects of the then College of Arts and Sciences and the whole RPC, as one of the organizers and participants, contributing much of his time and talent. To help himself financially, he worked with the Department of Health. During weekends, he has to go there. Lumuluwas po siya. Kahit busy na siya sa pag-aaral. And despite being busy with the tasks of a student leader and a working student, he fared so well academically and thus maintained his scholarship. He even received various awards, such as Outstanding Student Award given by the Student Council in 1994, Region 4 Department of Health Outstanding Student also in 1994. He was the champion in school oratorical contest, champion in the regional level, and runner-up in the national level in extemporaneous speaking in 1993. And he was one of the top 10 Jose Rizal model students in 1995 and the recipient of the RPC Leadership Excellence Award in 1996. These are just some of the highlights from his long list of achievements in college, which mirrored his intelligence, reflective insights, good interpersonal skills, getting things done with utmost care, dedication and passion, his hard work, and of course, his leadership skills. With all his achievements in college, graduate, and postgraduate studies, and his national and international accolades, Dr. Rommel Sergio still has kept his feet on the ground with no air of arrogance, as reflected by his expressions of gratitude and respect to me as his former professor and program coordinator, and to all his other professors as well. Doc Rommel, my kababayan, former student, and kumpare, hats off to you. Congratulations on the launching of your book, Unbroken, Trials to Triumph, The Making of a Community Leader. And thank you for sharing with us your creative output that will surely inspire and empower readers. I feel positive that this second book of yours will soon be on the bestseller list, just like your first one. More power and God bless. Muli, magandang umaga po sa ating lahat.
Thank you very much po, Ma'am Katmunan. And finally, to give her message is our University President, Dr. Nancy T. Pascual. Let's give her a round of applause po.
Thank you very much, Bats. To our esteemed guest speaker, book author, and academician, Dr. Rommel P. Sergio. To the Vice Mayor of Baras Rizal, Catherine B. Robles. Then to the former chairperson of the Psychology Department of De La Salle University, Dasmariñas, Professor Silpa Napicol. And to Miss Janet Alfonso Terado, class president and high school classmate from RTPI. To Miss Jobet Morales, the former Legacy Managing Editor. To Dr. Mercedes Tintiman, former Dean and Professor of our speaker from this university. Dr. Valentina Katmunan, former Dean and Professor of the College of Science. And wala po dito si Sir Ricky. So to our three vice presidents, pasensya na, Dr. Rommel, kasi sila ay mga evaluator sa ating ay supo. So sa ating pong masipag na VP for RDEP, Dr. Marites M. Rio, to tatlo po nating directors sa RDEP, Dr. Nikli L. Tiratira, Director Research Development, Dr. P. Esperanza T. Mateo, Director Extension Services, Dr. Jocelyn L. Gagalang, Director Office of Public Affairs, and Dean Professor Alan Norico, Dean College of Engineering, to all the hardworking committee members of this activity, to all our faculty and non-teaching personnel, to all our students, invited guests, and university stakeholders, a blessed Tuesday morning to all of us. I think the success of any school can be measured by the contribution the alumni make to our national life. This is a quote from John F. Kennedy himself, to which I can relate to our activity this morning. It is an honor and a privilege that we are hosting his book launching today in the school where he honed his basic and tertiary education. The school where I first met him as his guidance counselor and as a classmate of my sister Florence. Talaga pong kita ko ang kababaan ng kalooban ng ating Sir Rommel. Siya ay silent students that time. Kaya nang minemention po lahat ni Ma'am Jobet, na-mention pa si Dr. Bobadilla, it so happened na nasa office rin po ako ng OSA that time. So nakaka-relate ako sa kanila. Pero sila po ay mga talagang action students ng RPC and RTPI that time. So hindi po naman, kaya medyo ako natatouch ng minemention. Kaya no need na i-mention ko pa, inabanggit niyon lahat. So siya po ay patuloy na tumutulong sa ating university ngayon. So if I may recall, it was June 2020 at the height of the pandemic. I am still new as the university president, and we are all trying hard to cope up with how to continue the delivery of instruction that time. It was a program spearheaded by the College of Education led by VP Tet herself when we had our first webinar on flexible learning. Alam ko natatandaan po niyo to. It was one person who agreed to help us even though he is miles away from us. I will not forget that time as we were truly searching for ways to help our teachers' Zoom platform. Webinar type, sharing of screen, and diligently teaching us over the internet. During those times, I can help but to feel proud that our very own product, our very own friend, and Alumnus was shining like a star that led the light for University of Rizal system. Hindi ko ma-explain ang kasiyahang nadarama sa aking puso na humaharap sa inyo ngayon. Finally, ay natupad na ang pagpunta mo dito sa ating paaralan na face-to-face. Nag-abot na tayo dahil noong nakaraan, nag-abot na, kumbaga, nagkita na rin sa wakas. Nung nakaraang uwi mo ay hindi tayo nagkita, diba? Ay hindi tayo sa messenger na lang tayo nagkakausap at dito na din ngayon tayo para i-celebrate ang isa sa mahahalagang milestone ng iyong career at ng buhay. Isang patunay ang book launching na ito sa layo ng naabot ng ating guest speaker at isang educator. Bilang isang responsableng mamamayan ng Pilipinas at higit sa lahat ay bilang isang produkto ng paaralang University of Rizal System na lagi mong pinagmamalaki, alam namin ito. Natatandaan ko pa noong 2022 ay may personal note pa ang unang librong iyong isinulat entitled Management Cases, Thriving Organizations in the New Normal. And another book was written and published entitled Unbroken, Trials to Triumph, the Making of a Community Leader. Hindi lingid sa kaalaman ng lahat ang mga bagay na iyong ginagawa in and out of the country. Being a proud academician, international motivational speaker, and philanthropist in monetary and non-monetary ways, you have helped URS, your community in Baras, this country, and in Dubai, wherein you are really excelling and flourishing as a leader. It is very much noteworthy to say that we are so proud of all your accomplishments, and we look forward to all your amazing projects, concepts, and activities in the future. As you grow and mature as a person, you have always think of ways to contribute and be of service to others before yourself. We are so proud to call you and categorize you as one of the most successful alumni of our university. Bigyan po natin ng masigabong palakpakan si Dr. Rommel. To Dr. Rommel P. Sergio, our alumnus and book author that will be launching his book today, let me quote the description of your book as it says. The author invites readers from all walks of life to travel with him on this journey, not only back in time, but also forward into the future. For armed with courage and fortitude, and with hope as our greatest ally, we could all, by engaging more with the community, live a life of service to humanity, a life of self-actualization. With me, as you fondly called me, as Ma'am Nancy, your very good friend BP Tet, in the whole of University of Rizal system, workforce from the teaching and non-teaching personnel, the students and all our stakeholders, rest assured that we are with you in your journey to support you and help you spread the word of your causes and good deeds towards success and accomplishments of your mission. Dr. Rommel, masaya akong andito ka sa Pilipinas, sa URS, dahil alam kong mas pinili mong makasama kami ngayon, umagang ito, ang inyong mga kasamahan dito sa Sintang Paaralan. Kahit kinukuha ka ng mga sikat na universidad sa maghapong ito para makatulong sa mga programang nais naming maisagawa sa ngalan ng pag-angat ng kalidad ng edukasyon, you are truly an embodiment of what a community leader is, and we are pledging our commitment to spread your good deeds and multiply it with all of the URS community. May your book reach 1 million minds to spearhead a world that will foster service above all. Thank you very much, and may God bless us all.
Thank you very much po, Ma'am Nancy, and I could attest how beautiful this book is. I read the first chapter by just sitting there, and it's really inspiring. So it tells us about the journey of Sir Sergio, a life-changing journey as a student back then, and how his teacher influenced him to be who he is right now. So that's the first chapter of the book. Okay? Hininto ko muna. Mamaya na, baka sa jeep, chapter 2. Tamad po ako magbasa for this past few years, pero parang bumalik yung pagkahilig ko sa pagbabasa. Okay, so that's how good this book is. Very personal po yung approach. At napakagaan basahin. Hindi siya parang nagtuturo sa atin sa mga textbook. Very personal, and that's the nice style for write. And no doubt kung bakit napakahusay ni Sir as a writer. Thank you po, Sir, for this book. And thank you very much to all those who give their inspiring messages to Sir. And now we are finally proceed with the highlight of today's events, the launching of the book, Unbroken. Although Sir has already give us the background. So this time, as part of the, hindi pa pwede po. Yes, for those who would like to ask some question to Sir, it's about time po for our open forum. Who would like to start? Who would want to ask something to Sir? Yes po, ma'am.
Hi, Doc Rommel. Gusto
Hi.
ko po itong itanong bilang isang mamamayang Filipino. Doc Rommel, obviously we know that you were there, all the achievements, so on and so forth. How about our country? Though the book is, of course, here, launching here right now. But if you are given, if you will be asked by our government today, if you can serve in a post, particularly in education, will you? What will be your reaction on that?
All right.
Salamat.
Yeah, thank you so much, Janet. Janet has been not just a very good friend, but of course, an inspirational person to me. Back in high school, before I would answer that question, Janet was really motivating me to go to school. I said, it's not the motivation itself which was a problem. Na-share niya yung part na yun kanina when she was sharing some notes in the class. The reason for which I was not in the class is because I don't have money to transport myself to school. That was a part of that, you know. And many of people around me, kahit ito mga kalapit ko po, nag-contribute pa sila for a certain part of what I need to obtain to go to Manila para doon sa Jose Rizal Model Students of the Philippines. Sina Ate Tet, sina Ma'am Aina, nag-contribute pa sila doon sa pagta-transport ng document ko. And then last minute, sabi ko hindi ako makakapunta kasi I don't have means to go to Manila. They even chipped in certain amount of money para ma-transport ako doon physically. So let's just give them a big round of applause. Hindi ko nabanggit sa speech ko yan kanina, but the school was really instrumental back in high school. Having friends like Janet, she was our class president at the time. Net, I would say that there were already invitations. By the time I was in Malacanang, when I was given the presidential award, there was some whispering. There were whisperings that happened at that time. If I can, be part of CHED at that time. I declined politely for the simple reason na marami po kasi kami ginagawa din sa overseas work namin. Something I didn't also mention during the time I was doing my speech because it will be very lengthy. And I think it's high time for me to emphasize that during the time, 15 years back, when I was spearheading some community work in the UAE, you may not know how painful it gets to be exposed in a community from which we're doing counseling for OFWs. Yung iba doon, pinlansya dibdib nila, nagahasa sila, nagkaroon sila ng problema sa mga employers nila, na may not be locals themselves. Critical dahil hindi mo ma-post sa Facebook, hindi mo rin mabanggit doon ano yung extent ng services na ginawa mo because it's all confidential. Alam yan ng mga psychologists natin, mga professors ngayon. And so as my classmates na nandito din. But ang daming dapat gawin doon sa community na nandoon wherein I have established the Psychological Association of the Philippines UAE chapter. It's the very first chapter of PAP na acknowledge. Iba pa yung pangalan nun, then eventually binago namin because PAP recognized our sense of connectedness. But yeah, mahirap sagutin, Net. The fact that to where I am right now, there are a lot of things to be done. Meron din kaming psychosocial services na ginagawa namin 360 degrees across 8 Philippine schools in the UAE. Dito, Net, yung may time na, and I'm becoming more emotional when I'm talking about this kasi may case doon na isang araw lang yung layo, 2 estudyante na nagpakamatay. And the consulate, we have built very strong connection with the consulate office. So I think 2 o'clock in the morning, 2-ish in the morning, I receive a call. And I cannot do it alone. So the psychologists, the mental health practitioners in the UAE, I was able to tap all of these people. I cannot do it alone. So sometimes we're doing something like counseling sessions for 380 strong faculty members in just one school because there's a need, no, para ma-cascade namin where are these concerns coming from at nakakatakot minsan kasi the fact that suicidal tendencies nowadays can just be transferred cognitively. No, sa US, ang laki ng data of information na parang mabuti na lang na dun ka pumunta sa direction na yun. Of course, it's not right to say that. Pero nagiging contagious yung thought. No, and you need to combat that by educating the teachers themselves. You're teaching them how to really catch all of these tendencies, which is difficult. No, so imagine that 10 graders na isang araw lang yung layo, isang babae, isang lalaki, and this is just one of the many. Sa engineering sections or fields, for example, ang dami nagre-relate sa mga sessions ko. No? So hindi lang siya teachers, educators of today. We're also doing some sort of mental health programs for those who are already in the corporate world. At ang daming engineers mismo na nagbibigay iba-ibang klase. May chemical engineering, civil engineers, and all that. They were saying kung nalaman lang namin yung symptoms na to, nalaman namin how to address the issues kasi meron ng cases na hindi attempt, kundi successfully done. Yung attempt na yun to end one's life. So it's always personal to me, and that is reflected also in the book. The range of experiences I've had as a community leader, and I still am. No matter how difficult it is to juggle your work with your life and with the community work as a leader, I think it's important to commit myself because it's not about me anymore. It's about the community that I serve. So yeah, maybe in due time. I'm not saying it's a no, but maybe in due time. There will be a perfect time for that with God's grace and with God's intention. I think this will also happen in due time. At the end of the day, we all go back to our roots, right? Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much po, ma'am, and also to Sir Rommel for another response. And we also have here another question from Ma'am Angel.
Ayan, isang mapagpalang araw po sa
Hi
ating lahat. Una pong pasasalamat po sa inyo. It is indeed an honor po na, ayan nga po, nadagdagan na naman ang aming living inspiration. Salamat, sir. But bilang pagkilala po pala, ako po ay si Angel Toledo Reyes.
Hi,
Ako
Angel.
po ay isang young faculty worker or young faculty member ng College of Engineering. Pero lalo't higit po, ako po ngayon ay designated as the campus coordinator for extension. Malaking trabaho, pero salamat po. I do hope na talagang using your book, sir, reading your book, mas lalo po akong ma-inspire kasama ng mga mentors ko po ngayon.
Thank
Ang
you.
katanungan ko po ay maikli lamang, pero somehow medyo papaano ko po ba ito i-address? Sige po. Ang isang extension program po ay hindi lamang natin tinitignan kung ano ang balik sa atin. Tama po. But most likely, we are looking forward kung papaano natin mabibigyan ng tulong ang community po natin. Di po ba? Pero yung tinatawag po natin na sustainability, papaano po kami mga young extensionists po ninyo mabibigyan ng payo on how to make our extension projects sustainable? So, thank you.
Wow, most welcome. We have a very good session in the afternoon. One good thing, I agree with Dr. Aina that there are a lot of very, I would say, practical, pragmatic approaches to community engagement and research, and we have around 3 hours from 1 to 4 in the afternoon for that. But for just the sake of answering that question, I think it's so important to be trendy about your approach. It's benchmark to the best that you can, because right now, as we speak, if we're talking about QS World Rank University, particularly to where we have here in the Philippines, the top 4 universities, for example, you can see how they looked into the parameters of community engagement and connected to research, which again is my focus discussion in the afternoon. The university where I am right now is a QS World Ranked. And when I was starting there, I happen to be one of the pioneers. It's my 13th year in the university, out of my 15th year of stay in the UAE. And the university was just starting when I was there, 13 years ago. And take a look where it has led us. So parang ang commitment was to after 10 years we need to be QS World Rank, which is quite difficult. Parang suntok sa buwan yan kasi yung universities natin dito, it took them 100 years, 50 years before they can be QS World Ranked. And the fact that URS is very much internalized and internationalized, these are two different things. You look into that vision that probably one of these years you'll be able to do it, and it's not impossible. It's not because I happen to be one of the successful alumnus. We have a lot of people here. Even Don is here, yung president ng batch namin back in high school days. Don Robles, special mention. And among others na nandito din na they curved a niche of excellence to wherever field they are right now. And it's about the alumnus too. It carries that weight. But where we are and what we do, that spells a lot of difference for your office to operate on. So the connection that you have with your alumnus and involving them too, like what Dr. Nancy had mentioned, in a way that myself and other alumnus may do the same, you have that very strong connection with your alumnus and you know how to involve them. That's the essence of connection. And I think that's one of the best practices we can ever have in this present day and time. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much po, sir, and Ma'am Angel, Engineer Angel. Who else po who would like to ask question to Sir Rommel? Anyone? Going up from the students? Going once? Going twice? Bidding pala to. Okay, sino po from our... we also would like to acknowledge the presence of the scholars of Dr. Rommel. Can you please stand up? The scholars of Dr. Rommel are
Okay,
they here?
mahiya.
Okay, ayan.
Wow.
Madadagdagan ng scholarship nyo
Thank
dahil
you.
tumayo kayo. Okay, palakpakan po natin mga scholars po ni Dr. Rommel yan.
Successful professionals in the near future. Yeah, thank you.
The making of a community leader. Sila
Amen.
yan.
Amen.
Okay, so among the scholars who would like to ask question, yun talagang purpose na pagpapatayo sa inyo. Anyone who would like to ask question, it is your time to shine. Malay nyo madagdagan ng scholarship ninyo. Okay, for every question, there is 10% increase. Who would like to ask? Who would like to ask po? Mini, mini mo? Persahan, no? How about the others po would like to ask? From our student, we will be entertaining. Ayan, dalawa tuloy. So, may 10% increase kaya ng scholarship.
Good morning po.
Morning.
Dr. Robles. My name is Judel Francisco from University of Rizal Angono Campus po.
Oh.
Final student po.
Wow.
Ang ask ko lang po is how to be you po.
Parang kulang nga isang araw para sagutin yun But, well, bago ang lahat, I just would want to say how indebted I am. Binanggit ko na kanina, seeing old acquaintances, of course, excellent professors around the corner, administrators who have inspired me a lot. Part yun ang sagot ko. Parang pakiramdam ko nga hindi ako nasa book launch Ate Tet. Para akong nasa tribute day. Nakakaiyak naman yung mga premises na yon. I had to contact some people kasi na-figure out ko na may surprise. Ang hindi nila na-contain yung legacy na na parang testimonial, and one former immediate head of mine when I was in the LSU. But anyway, as I've said, this is the most emotional of all the book launches I have done, not just in the UAE, but way back when I was doing it in New York, when I had my first book launch there. So sa maraming salamat po. To answer that question, I want to go back to that root type that I was mentioning, wherein I was really exposed to a lot of things, no? Nung gumraduate ako, walang kuryente sa bahay namin. So those were one of the most painful things. Hindi dahil walang handa. Hindi dahil wala akong maisuot na disente na tinahipan ng lola ko yung suot ko na yon dahil ang aking lola ay nagnananahi ng time na yun, buhay pa siya. At muntik hindi akong maka-attend ng graduation rites dahil walang pamasahe yung pamilya ng pagpunta ng graduation rites wherein I have to get the Leadership Excellence Award na according to Dr. Nancy at that time ay 10 years hindi na ibigay. So nung batch na yon, naibigay siya, naibalik yung Leadership Excellence Award. I was the batch awardee at that time. What disheartened me, ang nakakalungkot na bahagi, hindi yung wala kaming pamasahe ng pagpunta at wala kaming handa at walang kuryente. The sad part was I saw my mother crying in one part of the house. She was sobbing and obviously as a parent, ayaw niyang maramdaman mo yung hirap ng buhay na hindi niya maibigay yung bagay na dapat maibigay. No? So I promised her at that time, don't worry ma'am, it will not happen with the rest of my siblings. I made it sure na yung hindi ko nakuha ng araw na yon, maibigay ko sa mga kapatid ko. So other than having that usual Filipino behavior na i-support yung family on behalf of the parents, hindi tayo dapat magtanim ng sama ng loob sa parents natin just because hindi nila nabigay yung kaya hindi nila nakayanan. So again, ito yung binabanggit ko na the irony of life, not to support toxic positivity but face the life that you have. Doon pumapasok yung toxic positivity na hindi kaya mo naman yan mapapagtagumpayan mo. But how? You need to recognize the pain. Because with you recognizing the pain, that's the only turning point that you will be able to recognize the value of those range of experiences, move forward, and do not be bitter about it, but instead think that what you need to count are the blessings that you have rather than those things that you didn't possess in the process. So, yun lang po. Salamat.
How to be sir, recognize the pain. Yan. that consolidates everything siguro. Yes, patience and perseverance. Okay, so thank you very much po, Sir Rommel, and to those who ask questions. And ma'am also would like to ask kung hindi mapapalabas tayo rito pag di natin entertain to.
One last question. We just wanted to hear this from you, sir, through your lens. What suggestions can you give us to further maintain or strengthen alumni engagement to the university? Thank you.
Wow, you're most welcome. Again, best practices po, no? Moving away from QS World Ranking, which I think even the Philippine system is into, looking into what CHED mandates, for example. Yung system internal to us, yung part ng discussion ko mamaya, medyo na-unveil ko na may konting patikim na kumbaga. The internalization is not all about internalization. It's not all about internalization. The internalization rather is not more of the looking into the outcome of external or international nationalization. Internalization is more on looking into what you have, what potentials you have. We recognize our resources, which is very scarce. No, but looking into the parameters of coordinating with those supporting bodies, governmental organizations, for example, not even NGOs, would help you capture those data of information. But the soul is having those data with you. It's quite technical. It's part of my discussion in the afternoon. Because fortunately, we have that 3 hour of engagement exclusive with the faculty, I think. So I think it's data generation and knowledge transfer, very important. How to technically do that? It takes a lot of time, probably multiple sessions, and again, benchmarking is the name of the game. You can never be like what John Don has mentioned. You can never be, a man in the island. You always have this collaboration in the process, and make sure documentation and a part of that is publishing what you guys have worked on. It's so important, maybe qualitative or quantitative type of research, which is again a very technical topic to deal with. But this is where URS is heading towards. recognizing that you need community extension to be strengthened and connect the dots by publishing the outcome of these researches. May puso yung faculty members at staff and students natin. And the fact that you can even start with excellent papers, outcomes of the students that are community extension laden, these are things that you can basically put up together and create an impetus for change for our community, which is more pragmatic than that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much po, and Ma'am Nikli.
Since this is a book launching,
Yes po.
I would like to ask something about the book.
Sure.
So you may say that the book is only intended for us, like adults like us, but I guess Dr. Mel will enlighten us. What can students get from reading this book? Thank you.
You're most welcome. Siguro kaya pinangalan ko kay Adler, kay Alfred Adler yung anak ko dahil more on individual psychologist yung frame ko eh. That your shortcomings can be your strengths, right? And I think it's better viewed as a student. You know, you always look, you recognize your pitfalls, but at the same time, that serves as your benchmark towards something bigger. So your growth is not viewed overnight. It takes a long process, and the process, the journey, your sojourn is so stiff, so tough. It's a bumpy road. You have to recognize that. It's not all about obtaining what you want at a glance. This is also where probably many psychologists of today, even those entrepreneurs, gurus of leadership, gurus of all time, would say that delayed gratification is very important. You know, that's where many youngsters of today do not have. So us being quite you may say relatively experienced, you know, we know how it takes to gratify our needs. Maraming panahon na hindi mo pa nakukuha yung gusto mo, painful yon for you and for your family and for your significant others. Pero if you will see how the impact of that, you know, that increases your emotional intelligence. So unlike many people of today, it may not be all of you, when you instantaneously grab that opportunity to be exposed to challenges, because you didn't master that pain, the process of growing, and that delayed gratification thing, you know, the marshmallow experiment, di ba? Those who were not able to put a hold and be patient in obtaining things at the right time, 20 years after that experiment, you can see how the children exposed to not withholding their patience, they were less successful. You know, so that's how it takes, you know, to bear with the circumstance. Sabi nga natin sa Tagalog, matuto kang mamaluktot, no? Kung maikli yung kung maikli ang kumot mo. So doon yan pumapasok lahat, no? So the forbearance of all these sacrifices, you know, the increased grit over time is also a life skill. So you need to learn how to be exposed to all of these things. So yung mga scholars natin ngayon, kahit si Ate Tet pag nagsasabi siya, huwag mo ibigay lahat, no? Kasi kailangan din may sakripisyo sa side nila. Talagang it's life coach ko na sila eh. Doon ko rin nakikita yung may wisdom palagi sa mga bagay kung bakit kontrolin, hindi palaging excessive, kasi too much of something and a lack of something can also be a problem for many. So learn how to control, you know, the impulse to control also contributes to the level of success that you may have. So I think that encapsulates the view that I have in line with this very good question. Thank you, Ma'am Nikli. Dr. Nikli. Thank you.
Thank you po, Ma'am Nikli, for the question, and also to Sir Rommel. Now, we have finally come to this end part of our book launching, and to formally end this activity, may we have Dr. Fe Esperanza Mateo, our Director for Extension Research. Extension.
Thank you, Sir Batch. Ma'am Nix, extension lang po sa akin na. Okay.
To the pride of this university, Dr. Rommel P. Sergio, the Honorable Catherine B. Robles, the Vice Mayor of the Municipality of Baras, Professor Silvana Picol, Miss Janet Alfonso Terado, Miss Jovet Morales, Dr. Mercedes F. Timtiman, of course, my former professor, Dr. Valentina R. Katmunan, our beloved University President, Dr. Nancy T. Pascual, our dynamic Vice President for RDEP, Dr. Marites M. Rio, my co-pilot, Dr. Nikli L. Tiratira, Dr. Jocelyn L. Gagalang, fellow faculty members, other guests, students, ladies and gentlemen, another blessed day to all of us. The launching today of the book Unbroken, Trials to Triumph, The Making of a Community Leader by our very own Dr. Rommel Sergio leads me to reflect on two key points. The first one is to think deeply on the purpose of man's life. And the second one is to carefully consider trials as stepping stones to succeed and offer selfless services to communities. As I think about Dr. Rommel's achievements and his way of unselfishly sharing the crowning glory to the University of Rizal system, I realize that man not just work to attain his aspirations, but to serve as an inspiration to others. Such is Dr. Rommel. His purpose is to serve and to inspire others to be community leaders. Another one is man must be strong and resilient. There are trials along the way to success, but having the willpower to realize dreams and be of help to those who are in need will reveal triumph in the end. Man must also be humble, accepting challenges as avenues to be stronger, to become a dreamer, and of course, make the dreams come true. On the part of the university, as it adheres to its commitment to serve based on its mandates, community development will always be among its priorities, and it will sustain all initiatives to nurture tomorrow's noblest. Taking note that community leaders emerge from dedicated individuals, this book launching will greatly encourage more and more individuals to look into their capacities and unveil them, become stronger amidst challenges, and take the path that will bring them to see the path of golden opportunities. Dr. Rommel, thank you for choosing URS to be part of your professional journey. Thank you for reminding us that we have to count the blessings and not the pains. Thank you for inspiring us to give more in terms of research and community works. Likewise, thank you to our dear God and to the administration led by our beloved Dr. Nancy T. Pascual, and the working committees for making this day possible. On behalf of Director Rennie May de Lemon, who is attending an equally vital task this morning, I would like to say this is a truly blessed day. See you in this afternoon's activity. Mabuhay po ang URS, mabuhay ang Dr. Rommel Pilapil Sergio.
Thank you very much po, Ma'am Fe. And now we will proceed with the photo opportunity. So paano po ang ating first, per row po mo siguro, per row. Okay, row 1. Para tayong ano eh. Row 1. Okay. By the way po, right after the photo opportunity, those who are in front po, we will proceed to the boardroom para po sa ating lunch. And the rest po, meron pong i-distribute na foods. Okay, papasign pa pala. And for those who would like to have the signature of Sir Rommel, then pwede rin po tayo mag-proceed. Sige po, pwede pa po ata. Okay, thank you po. Next row po. Sige po, next row. Row 2. Row 2 po. Sige po. Other faculty members po and staff of URS, pwede rin po tayo mag-join dito. Other faculty and staff of URS, kapag kasya pa po. And separate po para sa mga scholars natin. Right after po scholars. Okay, thank you po. Next po. Next table po tayo. Next table. Kalo kasalan. Pagkatapos po, diretso po tayo sa ating Next po, mga faculty and staff of URS. Si Ma'am Michelle po. Bibili po ng 10 kopya yan. Meron po kayong 70% less for 100 pesos lamang po pag dito binili. And sa Amazon, bibili 1-2 plus shipment fee. Malaki po ang magagastos nyo. Okay. Sige po, thank you po. And next, sila po ma'am, si Dom Regalaria po. And sila. Sige po, may kasama po ba sila ma'am? Meron pa po ba? Okay, sige po. Okay na pong tatlo sila ma'am. Okay po. Then next po natin yung scholars. Yes, sir. So, may scholars po. Scholars po. Meron pong pack lunch po doon sa mga students. Okay, so let's have a photo opportunity po with the scholars po.
Thank you po. Then next, sama-sama na kayo. After po ng mga students, mga classmates po ni Sir Rommel ang next. Kiss my children. Yung mga ngingiti, susunod na yayaman. Mga student leaders. Okay, next, students. Last po, mga high school friends ni Sir.